Now, I know many of you have been asking about what's happening with the Powerhouse Expert Advisor lately, and honestly, I get it. For months, we've been watching the Sharpshooter strategy absolutely crushing it. The results were incredible, people were making constant profits, the community was buzzing with success stories, and everything seemed to be going pretty perfectly. But then July 28 happened. One single day, one major news event, and suddenly the strategy took some serious drawdowns. The Sharpshooter hit its first hard stop loss. Accounts that were in profit for months suddenly saw big drawdowns. And I'll be honest with you, even one of our $5,000 live accounts lost almost half of its value that day. Now, here's what I'm seeing in the community. Panic. People are seeking refunds from the vendor, jumping shift to other EAs, and basically throwing away months of successful trading because of one bad day. But here's the thing, and this is really important. This kind of reaction is exactly what separates profitable traders from everyone else. So today I want to show you two things. First, the Powerhouse update that just dropped with some serious improvements that address what happened late in July. But more importantly, I want to talk about trading mentality and what actually makes you a successful trader in the long run. Because if you're one of those people thinking about jumping to another EA because it's safer, well, we need to have a conversation about what really happened to the Waka Waka Expert Advisor just a few months ago. Let's dive in. And before I show you what's really happening in the community and some shocking data about other EAs, let me quickly show you something. Do you see this picture? This shows that most of you watching right now haven't actually subscribed to the channel. A lot of people don't even realize they are watching without being subscribed. The videos just show up on your YouTube homepage, so you think you're already following us. But here's the thing, if you hit that subscribe button, you're not just helping me and the team out, you are supporting this whole community we're building here. We are all about honest, no BS trading content, and your subscription helps us making these videos. It literally takes 2 seconds and it could mean the world to us. So if you're getting value from this content, smash that subscribe button right now. Thank you. Now let me show you what actually happened on July 28, how the community has been reacting, and why I believe most of these reactions are completely wrong. So it was 28th of July, and that morning we woke up with some crazy news. There was this huge trade announcement between the US and Europe. Basically a massive deal that caught everyone off guard. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all the political details, but the bottom line is this. It was big enough to completely shake up the currency markets. And when I say shake up, I mean euro-dollar absolutely tanked. The pair dropped like 200 pips in just one day. If you're new to trading, let me put this in perspective. This kind of move usually takes weeks, even months to happen, but it happened in just a few hours. So what does this mean for the Powerhouse trading robot? Well, the Sharpshooter strategy got hammered. And if I switch to our website, and you can see here our live accounts, we have a $5,000 live account with the Sharpshooter, and currently it stays at 3,600, and you can see the gain minus 26%, and in the last 30 days minus 33%. And if I look at the track record, you will see exactly that drop I was talking about. So it started on the 27th here, and you can see it ended on the 28th. Basically, if I go to the stats and I go to the daily stats, and if I scroll down, you can see here on the 28th of August, we made a loss of over minus 30%. Actually, the stop loss here is set to 30%, and because the balance was above $5,000, the loss is actually bigger here. So the stop loss with the Sharpshooter on that account. Let's look at some other accounts with the Powerhouse EA that we have. So we have the Ranger. Basically, Ranger didn't experience any losses because it was trading the pound Canadian, and the loss happened only for the euro dollar. But if I scroll up here where we have the instant funding accounts, you can see here our charity account, which also suffered losses. Petco recorded the video about that. We have the Vigorous and Crackerjack here, which also made significant losses. We have this account here with the Sharpshooter. Petco recorded a video about that one. It received a permanent allocation. Also, it received 155k capital allocation, but as you can see, even that account went on a loss. Basically, the majority of our accounts went on a loss. There were some exceptions, I will talk about them later in the video, but you can see, guys, how depending on this robot, in so many accounts eventually lead to most of the accounts being on a drawdown. But as I said, this is something which happens in trading, and I'll explain what I mean. Now, if I scroll back to our live accounts here, and I'll type the Waka Waka, because I want to show you something. We have here the Waka Waka Expert Advisor. So if I click on the robot name, I will go to the vendor website, and here we can see their track record. This is the track record. And what I want to show you guys, if I go to the drawdown here, you can see this big bar here from May 2024. And if I zoom a little bit, you can see that the account reached 55% drawdown. Actually, this is an equity drawdown. The vendor had to fund the account to keep it running. For example, if I go to the Powerhouse website and I show the vendor's track record, you can see that one here. There are several accounts and they are all in a drawdown at the moment. But if I open that one, for example, and if I go to the drawdown, you can see it hit the 30% drawdown and then it is recovering since then. But let me show you one other account that we have here. We have the Powerhouse running with the vigorous Sharpshooter and crackerjack on iPhone's 10,500 account. And currently it's above the initial balance. And if I scroll a little bit on the right side, you can see the total gain is 4%, but the gain for the last 30 days is almost minus 5%. If I click on the track record, let me show you something. So we have the track record here of that account. You can see it's moving up and down. Here I added a discount code which gave me extra $500 in the account as deposit, so I can have a bigger buying power. And you can see here actually the account was going up, and it went almost $11,000 here. So at that moment I requested around $400 of a profit. And guys, this is important to remember. If you have the chance, withdraw your profits because you may not have a chance in the future. So we'll return to the starting point here with that balance, and you can see since April it was climbing and it reached that point here at the end of July and it dropped below the initial balance. But as I said, it took about 2 weeks for the account to actually recover, and you can see here we are already generating profits. Let me show you the stats and explain what's happening here. So if I go to the daily stats here and scroll down, you can see that at that day the account lost 7.4%. And it's like this because it hit the stop loss, which is 7.5% in this account because I'm trading the EA with low risk settings. So eventually I hit the stop loss. But interestingly here in this account, this wasn't the Sharpshooter which caused the loss, but it was the crackerjack, which also trades the euro dollar. So the account started to recover from the very next day, and you can see 0.3 profit, and then more profits like this. And currently we're at this point where we're $20 above the initial balance. But guys, I want to point out something again. So I requested to withdraw here. So I made some money out of this, and now I'm on the starting point. Actually, I'm on a profit already because I made some profits from this account. And it's just like I'm starting to trade it from right now. So this is what happened back in July, guys. But here's what separates the good EA vendors from the other one. So the moment this happened, the vendor didn't close their track records and their accounts. You can see them listed here on their website. If I go to the Sharpshooter EA, you can see the track records here, and you can clearly see the loss in all of their accounts. So eventually what Ryan from Responsible Forex Trading did, he decided to upgrade the strategy. And actually by the time of recording, because of this big drawdown, the vendor was good enough to offer this discount code. You can see it here. This is a recovery sale for the users. So basically you can use the code on his website and get this discount. And by the time of watching, if the discount is not available, check out the link below in the description in the video. We have arranged our custom discount, so you can use our code and get some discount again from their price. So let me switch to my email, and yesterday, 11th of August, I received this email about the latest update of the Powerhouse EA, and this one is pretty big and pretty exciting for me, guys, because it includes several features which I wanted to see in the Powerhouse EA. So here you can see detailed explanation about the updates, but I will just switch to my trading platform so we can look at the properties in the actual EAs. So here I am on my iPhone's account, and you can see here the account which I was talking about. I'll just quickly scroll the history up to show you actually at the late of July what happened here and those big losses which we're talking about. So you can see pretty normal trading, and then eventually it started on the 28th of July morning early in our local time in Europe. So you can see plenty of trades on a bigger profit here. You can see that. But then the EA started trading as usual, and you can see again smaller and bigger profits and losses happening. But this is how the Powerhouse EA trades. Overall, the account is still on a profit. I requested a withdrawal as I said here, and you can see the balance. But let me focus on that new features. I'll just go to the Powerhouse EA chart here, and I'll go to the properties. So what are the newest features here? We have these 3 new inputs, and I'll talk about them. So enable strategy priority by default is false. And what this means, guys, this is pretty useful if you're based in the US, if you're a US trader and FIFO is important for you. This will prevent one or more strategies from entering trades at exactly the same minute, causing FIFO related rules. This settings is mandatory for US regulated brokers using FIFO. Then we have another property useful to US traders, and this one is block strategies overlap. So how this works? This will block other Powerhouse strategies for trading at the same time, preventing FIFO rules again. Then we have the max trades global currency same direction, enabled by default. And what this means, so this function is set to true by default, and it will prevent multiple Powerhouse strategies trading the same currency in the same direction. This is used to help prevent overexposure in your account. For example, if your Vigorous is buying euro-dollar, the Sharpshooter won't be allowed to also buy the euro-dollar. Setting this to false will allow the Powerhouse strategies to trade freely without limitations. Now, something which I consider very important, and I will show you that. This is the addition of the stop loss here, and basically this property wasn't available before that in the bundled Powerhouse version. It was available only in the standalone Sharpshooter versions. And what it does, it allows you to set a value here and to have a stop loss on the chart. And this is pretty important for prop firms because many of those would require a visible stop loss. So basically this will put one combined stop loss on all your trades for a specific strategy. I would use a higher number here just to meet the prop firm's rules without affecting the core strategy. Then we have a little shift here in the randomize parameters. This value was 50 here in the previous version, now it's 30, but by default it's disabled, so it doesn't matter for iPhones. But if this was a prop firm or any kind of account where we need to have distinguished trades, then you can enable this feature. Now, before I continue with one of the most interesting updates in the newest version of the Powerhouse, I want to quickly tell you about iPhones, and this is actually a perfect example of what we've been discussing. So I've been trading the Powerhouse EAs with iPhones for a while now, and honestly, I picked them for one main reason. They offer access to much bigger trading capital. And with Powerhouse EAs, account size really matters for getting the best results. Now here's the crazy part. In July, I got hit hard too. I was trading the Crackerjack EA, which is another Powerhouse strategy I will be reviewing in a future video, so make sure you're subscribed for that one. But anyway, this account took a massive hit during that same period we've been talking about, and the timing couldn't be worse. I was literally about to reach the profit level where I could scale up the account to the next account size using my gains. That's one of the coolest features about iPhones. You can use your profits to move up to bigger accounts. I was so close hitting that milestone, then boom! July happened, big drawdown. But here's the thing, and this is exactly what I'm talking about with the right mentality. Instead of panicking and switching everything around, I just stayed the course. And you know what? The account recovered in less than 2 weeks. 2 weeks, guys. That's the power of staying disciplined and not making emotional decisions. If I had freaked out and stopped the year of switch strategies, I'd be still sitting there with losses instead of being back in profit. This is exactly why I like trading with iPhones for DCAs. The bigger account sizes mean better results, and their scaling system actually rewards you for staying consistent instead of jumping around. And if you want to learn more about iPhones and how they operate, Petco actually did a really informative podcast with their founders. I will drop a link in the description below. It's definitely worth watching if you're considering them for your EA trading. Now let's continue with the most important updates in the latest version of the Powerhouse EAs. Something really important and one of the biggest updates here that we have is the addition of this new currency pair, and this is the pound dollar. So back in time I recorded several videos where I showed you I've been putting the Powerhouse EAs to the test with different currency pairs. With that test I figured out that pound dollar would also perform well, but in my tests I reached bigger drawdowns. Then Ryan announced that he will add this asset to the Powerhouse EA. He made some backtest and he just changed the step of the grid, so increasing the grid a little bit made the strategy suitable for the more volatile pound dollar. What else is happening here? It's worth mentioning that the EVER strategy was dropped from the bundled version. Actually, we have been testing the EVER strategy back in the past and we have mixed feelings about it. So the developer decided to remove it from the bundle until it proves itself. But the strategy can still be found in the advanced traders folders here. So if you purchase the Powerhouse EA, you get all these EAs and all these versions. And we have something new here, which is a new version for prop firms, and you can see that one with lower stop loss. And let me just quickly add one chart to show you how this one looks. If I attach that one to the chart and go to the inputs, so I'm not going to select a strategy, but basically this will work for any strategy selected here. And if I scroll down, you can see by default we have some settings enabled. So we have the randomize enabled, and also we have the stop loss, which I was talking about at the beginning. So this one trades with low risk, and if I scroll down a little bit, you can see that the global stop loss is 4.75%. So if the prop firm you're trading with requires a different stop loss, you need to adjust this easily, like for example 3. But this version is tailored to be used on prop firms, and this is pretty great that actually we have that one dedicated version. Also we have the FIFO broker versions here, which actually are with the FIFO rules enabled. So pretty much a great job that the developer did with this EA update. But let me show you something else exciting that was rolled out with this update, and this was the update update of the Sharpshooter standalone strategy. Some of you have only this strategy, others have the bundled Powerhouse together with the standalone strategies. So the Sharpshooter was updated from version 1.1 to version 1.2, and this is pretty big update, guys, I have to say. And actually what's going on here, guys, some of the most important updates. In addition, you can find under the trade section. I'll quickly scroll down to that one, and you can see here in the trade section, we now have the randomization added to the standalone version, guys, which makes pretty easy to adjust the Sharpshooter EA to be used in prop firms. So for example, if I was going to use the Sharpshooter on a prop firm, I would go here, attach the EA on the chart, load the low risk set files to adopt the risk, of course. Let me quickly find those. So I have the set files here, and we have separate set files for the pound USD, but I'm trading the euro dollar in this example. So I will take the low risk set file and I will load it. So you can see the risk factor was adjusted immediately. But what else I will do here? I will just enable the randomization. I will change that one to something like 5 to 30 points. Be aware that if this is too big, the randomization may be too big, and this will change the strategy a lot. And what's most important, guys, we have the stop loss here. We can set a stop loss, something bigger, like this, for example, and this will actually place stop loss with every order that you have. Again, this is important for many prop firms. So this way we can adjust the strategy to be tailored to prop firms. But something last I want is to set the stop loss here. So maximum stop loss is 8%, but let's say our prop firms allows 3% per day. I can do it like this. Of course, it's important to mention that this won't disattach the EA from the chart, so you need to think about alternative solutions like some kind of account protector EA. But I will talk about that in future videos. So this is, guys, this is the update. Actually, I want to show you here finally my DarwinX account. If you've been following the channel, you probably know about this account. This one was a multi-currency account that I set up in one of my videos about the multi-currency Powerhouse. I'm trading here the Powerhouse EAs, actually the Sharpshooter, the Crackerjack, the Vigorous EAs, and they were doing pretty well. The account went to 8% profit in less than 1 month, and at the end of July it was hit by a loss. It then returned to 102,000, and at the moment it's recovering slowly. As I said, this is happening in all of our accounts. They are actually recovering, so nothing really huge and scary and nothing to worry about. But you can see how actually this account performs at the moment. And the last one I want to show you is this Holo Prime Challenge account, where I'm trading the euro dollar and the pound dollar Sharpshooter. And this latest edition with the prop firm version actually, and with the pound dollar version, it's pretty important for me, and I like that one a lot because it allowed me to diversify my portfolio and not depend only to one asset. So this was doing pretty well before it reached that big loss in July. Here you can see the Sharpshooter, but it is recovering since then. And once I received an email about the updated Powerhouse, I just attached it to the chart, and you can see what I mean by visible stop loss. All the trades have take profit and stop loss now, which is good for prop firms because with Holo Prime I was receiving email alerts that majority of my trades don't have stop loss, and this is risky. They won't breach the account, but this is risky. Alright, let me wrap up this for you. So look, losses happen in trading. That's just how it works. Nobody likes getting a stop loss, but honestly, it beats blowing up your entire account. At least you can trade another day. And here's what I've learned after years of doing this. The difference between successful traders and everyone else isn't the EA they are using, it's how they think about trading. You gotta think long term. Don't judge your results based on one bad day or even one bad week. The people sticking with Powerhouse will probably get their money back in a few months, but those jumping ship right now, they're just gonna start over with something new and panic again when that EA has a bad day. But listen, always take some profits when you're winning. I don't care how good your EA is. Anything can happen in this market. Don't put all your money in one place. So what did you learn today? Big news can wreck any strategy, even the holy grail ones like Sharpshooter and the Waka Waka. The new Powerhouse update looks promising and should help with the situation like the one from July. But honestly, the most important thing is your mindset. The traders who make it long term are the ones who don't freak out when things go wrong. They stay calm while everyone else is losing their mind. The market is gonna test you eventually. The question is, are you gonna stay cool when it happens? If this helped you out see things different, hit that like button, subscribe if you want more honest trading content, and tell me in the comments, what's the worst drawdown you've ever had? I actually read and reply to all the comments myself. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Stay safe out there. Bye.